Up on the bench tonight, I have my new Silky Longboy with installed hook fox. This is their shortest extension pole saw. When retracted, it's 4 feet 8 inches, and when extended, it goes up to 12 feet. So this is 2-stage, also with a folding blade. You have a shock absorber built into the butt. You have the vibration reduction grip, which is seems to be a bit more robust than the one that was on my Zubat, which really was about my only complaint of the Zubat was the grip tended to get cut really easily and came apart, so I ended up slapping on electrical tape to keep it together. It does have a strap built in for what purpose? Not quite sure. I'm sure you could strap it in, in a bucket truck, but climbing I wouldn't want it to strap it in there. The balance without the hook fox, when folded, is right in that point, so it's going to lay horizontally, which is not great when moving throughout the canopy. I don't know about that. I'll probably end up taking it off, honestly. This is a 360 millimeter, 14-inch blade on this one. This is 6.5 teeth per inch. They are impulse hardened, so you cannot sharpen them, but they do stay sharp longer. It is tapered like all Silky products, so the teeth are offset and actually make a wider curve than the blade needs, so it's pretty friction free in there. You can cut relatively easily. And it does have a built-in razor hook on here, or knife hook, I forget exactly what they call it, which really comes in handy when pulling little dead twigs and everything out. Another thing about the Zubat, it would really benefit if it did have this on there, but the Zubat blade does not. This thing weighs 4.3 pounds, and they're saying maximum usable extension is 16 feet, so I'm guessing they're predicting you can get go at about 4 feet and work from there. So that 4 foot plus the 12 foot you get from it gives you maximum working reach of 16 feet. Alright, let's take a closer look at the operation. So you do have friction locks and spring-loaded pins to lock them in place. You cannot access the second stage without first extending the first stage. So pop the friction lock, press in on the pin, that slides on out, and there's another pin right there. Lock it back in, and same thing on the second stage. Undo the friction lock, press the pin, slide on out until you come to the second pin. Locks back in. So here you have it, fully extended and locked. When you are extending the sections, you need to be careful not to go too fast. You can easily slide past the pin and come undone. So just be aware of that, and that's also with their other saws as well. So once you get to that point where you're getting close, slow it down, pay attention. Also of note, this is the second stage. I know you can't see everything, but let me go ahead and retract this. Lock it in, lock the friction lock. When retracting the first stage, all right, do my friction lock, slide it in. There's a problem right here. So I press in my spring-loaded pin, come back, and you'll note that the spring-loaded pin didn't pop out. Yeah, there it did. But a lot of times that pin will get kind of bound up and will not pop back out on you. So when you're coming in, you'll get here, you'll get there like it does right there, not pop out all the way. And then if you go and you move it, it'll shift. So that's one thing I've noticed I've had an issue with. There needs to be like a stronger spring or something underneath there that pushes that out. That pin is going through both the first stage and the second, and can get bound up in this first stage and not lock in on the second. I think especially, if you've got the first stage and the base, kind of offset to where it doesn't pop out even normally, which, in the tree you might not even think about. So when you come in, it's just not going to go. So what I've had to do is kind of wiggle it and undo the first or second stage and kind of wiggle it until it locks back in. Something to be aware of. Not very happy with that. All right, so one of the main selling points of this pole saw is that it folds down to 4 foot 8 inch. That's done by this knob right here, so it's locked in right now. To unlock it, we'll thread it out. It does have a stop built in, so you can't come out all the way. So we're stopped there. Then you depress that lever, and the blade folds in. Oh, yep, it doesn't lock because there's the hook fox. So coming back out, bring it out, push that in, it locks in. Scabbard has a built-in hook on there that clamps down right here and keeps the blade folded over. Also has built-in belt loop. You can put a beaner through there, and with it folded over, that's all you need to hold it from your saddle. And with it being only 4 foot 8, it's enough. You don't need to have an accessory cord dangling far from you like I've been doing with my Zavat. But as you'll notice, I can't fold it because of the hook fox, which I'll get to in a minute. But when it does work, it's actually pretty nice. Goes over, that comes down, locks in, and it's sturdy. You know, there's no chance of it slipping out. Also, when it's folded over, you thread that in, and it locks in, so there really is no chance of it coming undone. Alright, so kind of hinted at, my biggest problem with this product is this fucking hook fox. It's been a goddamn headache. It's been a nightmare. So let me show you some pictures here. We've got the Hayate, we've got the Hayauchi, and we've got the Zabat. So those are 3 of the saws that this hook fox is supposed to work with. Is there a picture of the Longboy with it? No. And probably the reason is because they know it doesn't go on the backside like the others. It goes on the front, which means you can't fold it, which is pretty much the biggest selling point of the product. So, hey, does it tell you that you can't fold it when you buy the hook fox? No. No disclaimer anywhere, doesn't mention it in anything. Just says, works with this product, when clearly they should have a disclaimer saying, works with it, but you can't fold it. Bullshit. And not only that, but when you get the hook fox, no instructions. You get 2 sets of mounting hardware, doesn't say anything about which set to use for which saws, doesn't have a diagram to show you the order, has no information. Not only that, but this is a piece of shit, really. It is not worth the 30 some odd dollars, because honestly, I don't see it lasting too terribly long. I've read that some people's have broken after the first couple uses. It's not one piece of metal, and they say it's steel. Yeah, it's steel, but it's very thin. And it's 2 pieces of steel that are, it looks like resistance welded together. I heard somebody say it was riveted, but there are no rivets in there. That's you know what, maybe that is riveted. Actually, it's just pressed from both sides. I don't know, I can't really tell. Could just be pressed together and held through the friction of the 2 plates. And also there are these 2 tack welded in nuts for one of the other saws, I'm not sure which one, because it uses those for mounting. But it is not a sturdy product, not really what I was expecting from Silky, who, from my experience with them, have been phenomenal. You know, I love my Zabat pole saw, I love my Zabat handsaw, the 330. I love my brand new Zabat 390 handsaw, great. This is horrible, this hook fox. Had I known what I know now, I probably would not have bought it. And yeah, you know, it's got a carabiner hole and it's got the slot so you can advance your climbing rope, but if it's broken, you're not going to be doing anything. And you also run into the issue of not being able to fold this. So not being able to fold it means it's not going to lock in position, and you don't have a way of securing your scabbard because there is no friction lock or spring-mounted lock like on this Zavat here. You can notice these are actually the exact same scabbard. This one just has the screwed on additional piece right here, which is the lock. So that's what keeps your saw from sliding out. This has nothing of the sort. So you're up in the tree, and this isn't folded over, so it's not secured, and it doesn't really stay on there too well. And you have this guy, which I will be taking off, but I didn't want to for the video. So that can get hooked on shit. There you go. Headache below ground, guys. Sorry I'm dropping shit on you. So there's that issue. Easily, you know, if you are traversing the canopy and you have it hooked on a branch, you don't notice and it flips upside down, that'll just slide right off. So that's shit. Not being able to fold this with this is shit. Not being able to put this on the right way is shit. That's, honestly, I was expecting better, especially from the Japanese. You know, normally you buy a Japanese product and you're getting a phenomenal product. Hondas, Kawasaki engines, I don't know about cars or anything like that, but you know, from the outdoor power equipment standpoint, Hondas and Kawasaki's are like the best engines out there. And their support, their manuals, and everything are phenomenal. So to get this with no kind of documentation was really kind of disheartening and a letdown in more than one way. So with it as is, I will not be folding it. You know, I'm just going to take this off the scabbard, use it as is. Eventually, I will actually rig up my own mounting system to where it is on the back side. Speaking of, let's take a closer look at the mounting. So these two screws are not the ones that come standard with the saw. They come with the hook fox. The ones that come with the saw aren't long enough to go through and hook on the hook fox and onto the saw. So the way I've rigged this with no instructions, I was actually just got into a job in which I was going to be climbing, and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm going to use the hook fox. And so I went to toss it on real quick, and yeah, bad move. I should have done this back at the shop. So the whole reason it's not going to fit the correct way is that these raised areas go over the threaded, they're not nuts, but sections of this mounting plate, and the screws thread right into there, so there's no nut with this originally. And this side is flat, clearly. So that's the right mounting method right there. Will it fit the other way? Yes, but then you've got compression here on top of these that are going to fold that in and bow this section out. Imagine to get hooked on stuff. And also, if you put it on the other way, these have to go threaded from this direction, and these are threaded. These are not threaded all the way to the flathead top. The threads only go to maybe halfway, so you'll have to get a tap and die set out and thread the actual screws themselves. Huge pain in the ass. And the reason I even put these nuts on here is because I didn't want all that threaded area sticking out. You can see I still have some threads sticking out, but less so than if I didn't have those nuts on there. And I've got washers and lock washers on both sides to take it down, leaving a little more. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The stock screws that come with the pole saw aren't quite long enough, so you can put them through and you can kind of hook it in, but you only get a couple threads, so I imagine it would strip out. Basically what it comes down to is I'm just going to have to do my own rigging system. I'll probably end up drilling out the threads on those inside nuts, as we'll call them. Come here on the other side, I'll make a spacer for this area here, for this side, and I'll just do my own mounting. But that was, it's bullshit, Silky, that you don't let anybody know that you can't fold it over. No, like, going on that long rant, I'm fully expecting someone in the comments to go, oh, human, you're a fucking retard, man. You did that way wrong. But, hey, man, what do you expect from me? I'm human. Anyway, that's how I feel about the Silky Longboy. Does it cut well? Of course. It's a Silky. It cuts great. Would I buy another one if I could go back in time? I might explore other options. Something with a built-in hook, maybe that's not quite as long retracted as my 13-foot Zabat, because that was really a pain in the ass, maybe even the shorter Zabat. I would probably not buy this one again. And another thing that kind of factors into that is when you're in the tree, it's time consuming to constantly be alright, there we go. Alright, let's fold it over. Okay, so we got the scabbard on there. Alright, we're down. Let's go ahead and thread it back in. Oh, you guys standing around doing nothing? Grab some rakes and start raking shit up while I'm doing this, alright? Alright, so then you're locked in, and next time you want to use it, so when you're traversing, I imagine it'll come to the point where you don't even bother folding this thing over anyway. So one of the main selling points of this product really kind of negates itself because I wouldn't be using it just because it takes too damn long. And not using it, you run into the issues with the scabbard that I already mentioned. So that's the Longboy. Have a good one, humans.